Hey, what's going on YouTube family? It's your boy Mike the Businessman, and on this video I'm going to be discussing 3 ways that you guys can monetize your vehicle or vehicles if you have any. Let's jump right into it. All right, guys, so I'm not sure if you guys have read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, but in it he describes a rat race and how people are stuck in their 9-to-5s and they can never seem to get out of that daily grind of trying to work for money and never actually reaching a point where they feel they have less anxiety and they feel like they're actually able to start making investments, or where they feel comfortable enough to go retire. All right, they're relying on Social Security, they're relying on their 401k and hoping that's going to be enough for them once they hit the retirement age. However, in the book, he explains how the only way that you can comfortably retire is if you find a way to get out of the rat race. And how do you do that? By investing, all right? You invest in things, businesses, real estate, stocks, anything that could produce you passive income. And once you do that, once your passive income exceeds your daily or monthly expenses, now you're in that passive income area, right? Now you have that disposable income that you could use to reinvest into other things, more real estate that creates you more passive income. That way, when you're ready to retire, you don't have to rely on Social Security. You've got a bunch of 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 100,000 in passive income that's able to keep you. And then now you're able to do bigger things like mergers and acquisitions, buying businesses, things like that, right? That's how you're able to build wealth and get out of the rat race. And so I am going to be giving you guys today 3 business ideas using a car that you guys can start today. Even with the car that's sitting in your driveway collecting dust, maybe you work from home and you don't drive out a lot. You can monetize your vehicle and get started on your way to getting yourself out of the rat race. All right, so let's jump right into it without further ado. All right, number 1 is going to be courier services, right? You can actually use your car and you can sign up for certain apps out there, or you go to places like Craigslist and there are companies out there that put out contracts for delivery pickups, all right? You pick up parcels, you pick up packages and you deliver them to certain places, right? Maybe it's a medical facility and they need you to go pick up something, right? Maybe it's a pharmacy, they need you to go pick up stuff, or businesses, factories, whatever it may be. They need packages delivered to certain places or picked up for them, and they pay you for that. Some of them pay per mile, different ways they charge, but you guys can sign up for these contracts and you could use your car. You can make anywhere from $20, $30, $40, up to $100 or more per pickup, depending on the weight and the distance. All right, so you guys, this is something you could do even with the car that you have now. You don't have to go buy something different. That's the beautiful thing about this business model. And now if you even want to scale it further, if you own like a cargo van, a minivan, now you can even carry more items, and now you guys are able to go make money delivering these packages. So how do you make this passive, you might ask? So if you have maybe several contracts, now you can start getting drivers that could go fulfill those contracts for you, and that's a way that you guys can start building up this extra stream of income. And the beautiful thing about this business model is you could do this using the car that you have right now. If you have a Toyota Corolla, a Prius, whatever it is, you could use that and get started. And then as you scale, then you can start to get bigger vehicles so you can hold more packages. And there's nothing stopping you guys from doing multiple deliveries in a day. All right, so that's the beautiful thing about this business model. It doesn't require you to go buy a bunch of vehicles or anything of that nature. You can keep it as small as you want to, or you can grow it as much as you want. So that's going to be my number 1 option of a business that you guys could use to go get it with your car. So that's one business that you guys can get started with today using the car that you own right now. Second business that you guys can get started in using your car is gig economy work, right? You guys can sign up for apps like Uber, DoorDash, Lyft, Amazon. You guys can use any of these platforms. You can register, and then you guys can start driving people to their destinations for a fee, right? Uber, everyone knows Uber. You guys can use that app. You can use multiple apps. That way you guys are getting lots of pickups, and that's another way that you guys can actually put your vehicle to work. Now here's a hack. Say you want to do Uber, right? Make sure you're strategic with it, right? So if you don't have a car and you're looking to go buy a vehicle, I would suggest that you guys go to Uber's website and go look at the different categories. I know they have like the VIP, they have Uber Comfort, Uber Black, Uber XL. You guys can go get you a vehicle in the Uber XL category. Why do I say Uber XL? Well, with the Uber XL category, those vehicles are able to do all the other trips below them. So if you have an Uber XL vehicle, like say a Dodge Caravan, you guys can qualify for Uber XL trips, Uber Comfort trips, and Uber VIP trips, or whatever other categories are underneath the Uber XL category, right? So that's the beautiful thing about it versus if you just have like a Uber compact, a Uber, a Comfort, or whatever it is, you guys can't go up. You can't go to a higher category. You don't get that traffic. So that's a hack for Uber a lot of people don't know about. So if you haven't bought a vehicle yet, make sure you remember to do that before you jump into Uber, all right? Now, that's gonna be the second business model that you guys can get into using the cars that you already have now. Now, the third one that you guys can get into, and one of my favorites, is going to be private car rentals, all right? Or just car rentals in general. Now, the third business that you guys can get into using your car is gonna be car rental. Why do I love car rentals? Because it's over a $90 billion industry, all right? And it's projected to keep growing, all right? The demand for cars is a real thing. Less and less people are relying on public transportation, and people use cars to go from their homes to work, all right? So there's always a reliance on cars. And guess what? Not a lot of people either can afford cars or have a credit to get cars. So you have travelers, you have business executives, you have weddings, you have maybe tourist attraction areas that need people to come in and they want to rent out maybe off-road vehicles and stuff like that. There's so many niches in the car rental space. That's why I love it personally. All right, so here's the good thing about car rentals. You could do this actively yourself. Maybe you can actually go get a whole fleet of cars and you can scale up as far as you want to go. There's no ceiling to how far you can scale in the car rental business. Or you can also just do it with the one car that you have outside. That's the beautiful thing about the car rental business. Now, within this model, there's several niches that you guys could focus on, all right? You guys could do what they call car sharing. That's where you use the apps like Turo, and you place your car on Turo, the car you have right now on Turo, and the app will start getting you renters. It's kind of like the Airbnb for cars, all right? Now, the disadvantages of using the app like Turo is that there's always downward price pressure because you're competing against a whole bunch of other people on that platform. So that's the only thing to look out for. And these platforms also charge you a fee, all right? Anywhere from 10% to 40% of your money. So just be mindful of that. Now, another sector inside of car rental space is a ride sharing niche, all right? And there's some apps out there like Hire Car and Get Around. These apps cater to gig economy workers, all right? Or people, blue collar workers that need an economy car for long term, all right? So you put your car on there and that car could be gone for months or even a year. I've had people in my academy that have had their cars gone even longer than a year. So that's a possibility. So now if you want to make this as passive as possible, and that could be a route that you can go. You put your car on one of these platforms and your car is gone. Now, the thing about these platforms though is that they also take up to 40% of your money. So just like Turo, these guys will also take a lot of your money too. Now, finally, and my favorite is gonna be private car rentals. Now, Mike, why do you like private car rentals? Because I get to keep 100% of my coins. That's why. I don't share money with anybody. And the beautiful thing about private car rentals is there's no competition. I'm just competing with a few local businesses in my area, and I get to set my own pricing. All right, so a car that might go for maybe $400 or $500 on these platforms, I rent out for as high as $1,500, and people pay me that. That's the beautiful thing about car rentals. Not only that, but I also own my book of business. All right, it's not locked away by these apps. These apps don't let you get the customer's data. I get to keep the customer's data. That's the beautiful thing about renting privately. And in case I didn't mention it, private rentals is when you rent directly to customer. So you're cutting out the middleman, all right? There's no apps in between. You are renting directly to customer. It will almost be like Airbnb, but you just go in to text the host or the owner of the property directly and asking if you could rent the car to them, rent their house out directly. That would be a private transaction. You're bypassing Airbnb. Same thing works in the car rental space, right? People can just come directly to you and rent directly from you also. So that's the beautiful thing I like about private car rentals. Also, not only that, since I'm building up a book of business, I now have a business that I can exit out of. I could sell that business, all right? I mentioned mergers and acquisitions, buying and selling businesses. That's another thing I'm able to do with my car rental space. You build it up to a certain level, it has a certain amount of revenue coming in monthly. Now it starts to become attractive to investors. Other people like you that are looking for other passive streams or semi-passive streams of income, they would be happy to come in, analyze your books, and see about buying your business over from you. All right, so those are going to be, guys, 3 business models that you guys can get into using the cars that you own now. I'm just curious, what do you guys think? Have any of you guys done any of these? Is there another one that I'm missing? Let me know in the comments. And also, guys, please, it helps my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video so I can keep putting out more content. I know I haven't been as consistent as I'd like to, but I'm back again. And so, guys, thank you very much, and I'll see you guys on the next video.